On this episode, we're talking to an agent in San Antonio that has figured out Instagram. He's figured it out. Brad the Realtor, you've all seen his videos, big as shit door, and the shit is available now. He's on the podcast today sharing exactly what he's doing on Instagram that has helped him blow up his business and open more doors than he ever thought possible. What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 327 of the Massive Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Brohm. Today, we have Brad Scott on the pod. Brad the Realtor. He's exploded on Instagram and TikTok just in the last couple months. The first video I saw from him, I couldn't stop watching. He starts it out with, "This shit is available now," and he goes to just talk shit about potential buyers, about the house itself, the neighbors, the real estate market. It's hilarious and it's super creative. And because of it, he's grown his following on Instagram to over 140,000 followers, 115,000 on TikTok. And he's going to share with us today exactly what his blueprint looks like, exactly, what his formula is for it, because he's been using Instagram for a while, but he's just recently, within the last couple of months, figured out what works for him and leaned into it. And he's going to describe that whole process and how he knew it was working and how he keeps it going and what's happened to him as a result. He told me more doors have opened to him than he ever thought possible as a realtor. So just a super cool story with Brad Scott today out of San Antonio. And if you don't follow Brad the Realtor, if you haven't seen his stuff, that means you're probably not on Instagram ever, because if you've been on Instagram ever over the last couple of months, you've seen Brad the Realtor. So excited to have him on the show today. Before we bring Brad on, this real estate market is not just about interest rates anymore. Now, is it? Now there's the NAR settlement. There's the new rules around where you can advertise compensation. Notice I said not around compensation, because there's absolutely nothing that prohibits or limits compensation being offered or how much or any of that. It's just where it's being advertised. If you have not yet heard my NAR settlement breakdown, go back to the last episode 326, because there's so much bullshit. There's so many misconceptions, so much information around the NAR settlement and what it means. It boggles my mind how many agents don't understand. And I don't want to let them off the hook completely, because the media has done a shit job. CNN especially. Go fuck yourself, CNN. Absolutely atrocious, pathetic, and disgraceful attempt at quote unquote journalism that CNN's done. But the media in general has just been shit, which means it's our job to do we have to be the adults in the room. We have to, if the media is not going to help us out, we as agents need to correct the record and educate, which also creates more of an opportunity for you to stand out as an advisor, an educator, as the adult in the room. But you first have to understand what is happening. So if you haven't yet, go listen to episode 326. But before that, you're going to like this episode. It's entertaining, and Brad's going to share how he's figured Instagram out. But anyways, because of all the interest rates, the NAR settlement, all the media bullshit, there's now so much that you have to stay ahead of as an agent. And for any one agent to try to do all of that yourself, it's very daunting. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you're still going to miss shit. What you need to do is just get Keeping Current Matters. Get KCM, put them in your tool belt, use it, and forget about it, because they have a whole team of experts on the economy. So I said that weird. They have a whole team of economists, housing experts, people that all they do all day long is they study what's happening with rates, with the market, with seasonality, with now consumer sentiment, and all of this stuff, and how it affects sales and what you need to know. And they just give it to you, and they tell you what it means and how to advise your clients so that your clients can get ahead of any trends that are happening or anything happening in the real estate world. You really have to try out Keeping Current Matters, and you could do so for free. Just go to trykcm.com/bam. You really should have done that by now. I mean, if you're just hearing about the KCM for the first time, I'll give you a pass. But if this is now your second, third, fourth, 24th time you've heard about Keeping Current Matters and you haven't done the free trial to check them out, what the hell? What the hell? I don't understand what you're doing. Try kcm.com/BAM. No more excuses. And while you're at it, go over to nowbam.com and look at the BAMX community. The community there is absolutely second to none in real estate. The brain power of agents within the BAMX community is second to none. The amount of training and education and resources to help you grow your expertise and learn and network and provide referrals is just incredible. And if you're planning on going to any of BAM's events this year, like, I don't know, BAM Camp in Washington, D.C. this June, BAMX members get a pretty significant discount. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, again, you've got to take this shit seriously. Go to nowbam.com and look at the BAMX community and see what that's all about. Use code MASSIVE at checkout and save yourself a decent chunk of money on a membership to BAMX. Use code MASSIVE. You're going to need to do it anyways. Save yourself some money. Use code MASSIVE. Let's jump into our conversation with Brad Scott. Brad, the realtor out of San Antonio. The dude's videos are hilarious. They're unique. Even if they're not your cup of tea, even if you're like, I don't really like his style or his personality or whatever. Okay. You need to hear how he's leaned into this style that he's doing and because you're going to learn how you could do that for yourself, whatever that means for you. So he has so many gold nuggets and gems that he shares in his story and the lessons he's learned and all of this. This should be one of your favorite episodes of the year. Let's bring Brad Scott in right now. All right, I'm here with Brad Scott, Brad the realtor from Instagram, who's absolutely exploded recently because his videos are pretty damn unique and hilarious. Brad, welcome to the Massive Agent Podcast. How's it going?
It's going awesome, Dustin. I appreciate you having me.
Of course, man. Well, as soon as I saw your first video and then your second video, I was like, all right, I got to talk to this guy because they're fucking hilarious. And
yeah, I'm glad that you think so, because I didn't really think much of them whenever I first posted them.
Well, I'm not the only one, obviously. I mean, you've grown to almost 150,000 Instagram followers over what period of time?
I think I posted the first video on January 27th. So it's been about a month and a half. And whenever I posted that video, I had 19,000 followers, and I'm sitting at about 147, 148 now. So about 120 in about a month.
Dude, that's crazy. Well, you've obviously found something that works. You found a format that works, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. But first, you're in San Antonio, Texas. How long have you been selling real estate for?
5 years. I got my license in November 2018. One of my buddies who was a real estate agent for the last, I guess, 4 years, because it takes that long to get your broker's license. He was doing apartments, actually, doing apartment leasing, and he was very successful in that. Nowadays, it's kind of hard to make a lot of money with apartment leasing. You still can, but back then it was like the glory days, and he opened up his own brokerage, and I was basically living in Austin at the time. I had moved there I went to ACC, wanted to pursue music. I was interested in that at the time. And he gave me a call and was like, hey, look, I know you got, your thing going on over there, but move over here, get your license. I'll change your life. And I did exactly that. And he was not wrong at all.
So did you get success pretty quickly after you got licensed?
Very, very quickly, yeah. My mentor was very spot on with it. He knew how to. That's what he's good at. He's good at making people successful. Not only just within the job, just within their life. You know what I mean? Very on top of those type of things: relationships, work, health, all that good stuff. So definitely, if you have a guy like that in your life, just hold on tight, because they can take you places for sure.
Dude, that's awesome. That's okay. Having a great mentor is such a cheat code. And it's so much more than just how do I sell houses? It's how do you become the person who's capable of selling a shitload of houses and earning a high income, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people they look at sales, and they think that it's all like, smoke and mirrors, and it's all very like I guess snaky or whatever. But true sales is being able to connect with people. You know what I mean? Finding common ground. And just at the end of the day, what I've learned this last 5 years, I mean, I just learned it the last month and a half, But it took me 5 years to get to this realization of, man, people just want to work with other people who are just being themselves, who don't have any fluff, who are not trying to, I guess, win them over or I guess actually sell them something. Because as real estate agents, I mean, I think it's kind of odd that we are classified as salesmen because we're not. At the end of the day, I'm not selling anything. All I'm doing is brokering a transaction, making sure that my client gets the best deal possible, make sure that they're not making a bad mistake, make sure that, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road, their family's going to be financially set because they made a great investment. And I was able to broker that investment. I'm not selling the home. DR Horton's selling the home. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. So, okay, I'll circle back to this journey you've been on. You mentioned health, you mentioned mindset. All of these things go into what makes a person capable of having success, right? It's more than just like do A, B, and C, and you'll make $1 million this year. Like you got to
Correct.
be the
It's a
person
full
capable of that.
lifestyle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So what were you doing to get business then? Before, like up until January of this year, when the industry started to get to know you, what were you doing to get business?
Basically the same thing, just like not as aggressive and not as forward as the videos. If you go and look back on some of my videos not too long ago, within the past year, I did get in front of the camera a lot, but I also have a lot of voiceovers. So
Mm.
I think that was where I wanted to kind of find something, but just never did. I started doing voiceover walkthroughs about a year ago. And whenever that happened, I did see a nice little uptick in business. I saw an uptick in, online, people following me and whatnot. But it's just kind of plateaued, right? There was nothing too special about it. There wasn't like, okay, yeah, you're talking about the home. And so I got in front of the camera. And if you look about 6 months back, I'm in front of the camera. I'm saying funny stuff, but it's more of a long form type, right? Each clip is like, 10 seconds long, not zero point 0.5 seconds. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I'm just kind of like being myself still, but just kind of tiptoeing on that line of professionalism. And I did that for about 6 months. It did pretty good at first, but then kind of plateaued. And then I guess one day I was just going out marketing, and I'm always trying to think of different avenues. I'm always trying to think of new things to do. I like to be the innovator. That's all what I've always been in basically any part of life, right? It doesn't matter if it's real estate or, video games or whatever the hell it is. I like to innovate. I like to be the one to take that next step, and I'm not afraid to do so. And so I just told myself, man, I need some business because my pipeline is drying up, and I'm doing the same thing over and over again for years and years and years. What needs to change? Like, what can I do right here, right now that is going to help me explode my business? And I just said, I'm just going to drop it. I'm just going to drop the bullshit. Just zero fluff. I'm just going to talk to the camera like it's my buddy and we're having some drinks or something. You know what I mean? And and whenever I made the video, I actually almost didn't post it. I almost deleted everything. It was like, nah, this is dumb. This is dumb. This is too much. I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah, all that good stuff. But I decided to just post it because why not? I mean, what's the alternative to not posting it, right? The
Right.
alternative is just same old BS, dry pipeline, people not connecting with you the way that you want them to. Like I would be with a client who I knew we had the same personality type and we could connect, but for some reason there was always still just that little bit of like, I guess, wall between us to where we couldn't really just like say the F word around each other. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just something to help us both realize like, look, we're both dudes. We're out here living life, trying to make it happen for ourselves. We don't have to put on this facade of like, hi, I'm Brad the realtor and I'm here to help you through business. Nah, man, just like, let's make this happen for you. I'm good at my job. I can help you accomplish what you're looking to accomplish. If you don't mind, me just being myself, then I think that this is going to be a really good opportunity for both of us to make an investment that is typically very stressful into something that's easygoing and fun. And at the end of the
Yes.
day, like I have one word, finally. You know what I mean? It's just finally I'm able to just have fun on the job again. It's like I just got into real estate again.
That's such a hack right there. That like that's the cheat code, and it took you realizing that you were holding back a little bit, like you were still not fully leaning into being yourself. You weren't being fully
Yeah,
authentic until one day you said fuck
correct.
it, and you did. And was it the very first video with this new style where
Very first one.
the
Yeah.
first one popped off?
Very first one, man. Very first one. I posted it, and actually, the first hour was pretty normal. Pretty normal likes and comments, maybe 20, 30, something around there. And that was pretty much my average at the time. But a couple hours later, man, it started really picking up. And I think, the algorithm rewards videos where people watch it for a long time. Watch time is a big factor in the algorithm. And I think whenever people are that first line, you know what I mean? That first video, it was kind of lucky, but it taught me so much about my future videos and staying in the algorithm and keeping your videos interesting to where people actually want to watch the whole thing. I realized how important hooks are, and I didn't even show up to that home with like, okay, I'm gonna say this shit's available now. I just said it. I just set up the camera and I'm just like, look, this shit's available now. Like, what else do you want from me? Kind of attitude. You know what I mean? Like, this available now. What's up? And then yeah, I think the next line was really what got people onto the video. Like they're gonna stay the whole time. And it was like they're offering a rate buy down to 5.8%. That sucks. And like all the comments after that were just all about that little line right there. So there's a lot of things that I've said in these videos that people have really held on to, and I love that. I love that like my videos are now something that people look forward to at the end of their day, and not only are they looking forward to the video, but they're looking for big as shit inside of the video. And so
Yes.
whenever I post a video and that part's coming up, I'm like, yes, this is it. Like this is the brand right here. This is what people love. I'm never gonna stop, being who I am, because who I am is just absolutely resonating with a lot of people, and it's making this way easier.
There's so many lessons here, Brad. So first off, like you had to become okay with the fact that some people aren't going to like this new style. Like some people would be offended. Some people,
100%.
right, that you're not professional enough. And so you had to say fuck it and do it anyways and be okay with it. And that's huge right there, because you knew you're going to alienate some portion of the viewership, but
Yeah,
you've shown what happens when you can attract the right people, and more than that, you've also created a series. Like you've like you said, your brand, this big as shit. You just started saying it, but then you said it repeatedly. And now the two things that I think of, if someone asked me how would you describe Brad's videos, I would say big as shit door, and this shit is available now. Like those two things, and then the fact that you put the visual hook on the beginning of the video, like the visual hook, this poop emoji is available. That it's now a series. So now people go through your profile and they're like, I want to watch another. I want to watch another. And they just start to binge on those because they're all starting the same. It's a series you've created. It's genius, and it
correct.
creates virality.
Yeah, yeah, and it just has people looking forward to it. I think the best thing you can do in social media marketing is have people looking forward to your content, not just finding it randomly. I mean, it's always good to be lucky, right? But if you can create something that people are looking forward to, like think about back in the day, whenever we were basically watching cable TV every night, right? We would watch Fear Factor on Thursday night, and then we had to wait a whole week to watch Fear Factor again on Thursday night, but we made damn sure we're going to be in front of that TV on Thursday night, right?
That's
And
right.
I think it's kind of a similar aspect with this, and I think that's a beautiful piece of this. And yeah, it was definitely strategic after I saw the comments and all that after the first video, and what lines really stuck out to people. And big as shit was really the one that people liked. And I want to go back to your comment earlier about it's a cheat code, like kind of dropping the business thing. And because you're 100% right, it is. I think as professionals, right, real estate professionals, we think we have to be a blanket for the entire community, right? We have to be professional so that anyone can use us. And that's how you're going to be the best version of yourself, the best agent you can be. That is so wrong. It's not even funny. See, we have this mindset of like, oh, I have to say things in a certain way so that I don't piss off this group, right?
Right.
This group isn't going to use you anyway. They're not using you now. And for some reason, you're banking on them using you in the future when they showed you they're not going to use you already. So why do you care about pissing this group off? Because what's going to happen is, and what happened in my case is, I pissed off this group, but then 10 times the amount of this group started reaching out to me. And not only now am I getting 10 times more business because I cut my demographic in half, basically. You would think, hey, you cut half the amount of people, leads, possible leads out, now your business is going to suffer. No, it explodes because now these people want to work with me because they see how genuine I am. They can relate to me. And to your point, it's a cheat code. I don't have to sell myself anymore. I don't
Right.
have to sell my product, my service, nothing. The moment I realized my life and my career was about to change is whenever I started taking buyer consult calls and I would hear their tone immediately when they pick up. I'm like, hey, what's up? This is Brad the realtor. Oh, big as shit, or oh, this, that. Like they're immediately themselves. Immediately themselves. You know what I mean? Like just right
Yeah.
off the bat, just saying hello. And yeah, the wall is non-existent anymore. People who call me and want to work with me, they are themselves right off the bat. And it's because I allow them to be, because I am myself. And to your point, that is the cheat code. There is no more, a couple of days of building rapport, or no more like, trying to sell a product or yourself over the phone. They're calling already completely bought in, ready to rock.
Dude, that's so well said. You dropped a lot of gold right there. You now when you build a brand for yourself, people hire you because they want to work with you. It's very, very rare that you get someone that's like, okay, we're going to interview you and four others. They're reaching out because they want to work with you. Like
Correct.
it's amazing. Like Paige Steckling in Utah, she's done the same thing. People want to hire her because they want her and her listing videos and her personality. And you've done the same thing. You've created, you're now attracting business. You've built this
Hmm.
machine that attracts business to you, and you're no longer chasing it. Like that.
Correct. My
No
mentor
wonder
put
it's
it in a
fun.
way that was kind of indicative to what you just said. He's like, you're no longer pushing the snowball uphill. You
Mm,
just pushed it and now it's rolling down by itself. Your business is no longer an uphill battle. It's all downhill. It's very easy. It comes to me. You know what I mean? There's no more
yeah,
interviewing. There's no more anything like that. People are using me because they like me. They're not using me because I'm good at real estate. They're using me because they can relate to me. Luckily for them, I'm very good at real estate, but that's not why they're using me.
exactly. Yes. You mentioned earlier how if you're trying to appeal, the way that I've heard it is this: if you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. You're not memorable. Like think of the news anchor. They're so polished, they're so perfect, but yet you can't personally relate to that person. It's almost like they're not a real person.
Yeah, they're
You
like
may
robots.
They're like robots. No one's going to hire Stone Phillips from the evening news to to sit in a car with and drive around and look at houses for 3 months. Uh, they want someone who they want to have a beer with, someone that is obviously competent with their job, but seems like a real person that they connect with personally. And that's the genius of what you've done. So I want to transition to, okay, you have this snowball going downhill now. You've pushed it up the hill. It's now going downhill. It's rolling for you, but you're still working your ass off, right? You're still producing videos. What does that look like? I mean, how much time and effort do you put into these videos? Do you have a videographer? Do you record yourself? Talk about the creation part for us.
Okay, cool. So I'll just get this right out of the way. My life now, from the moment I open my eyes to the moment I put my head down, is just busy. You know what I mean? There's always something that I can do with work, or always someone I can respond to or call and figure something out. So I have delegated a lot of my tasks to people that I've hired. And I also have a bunch of buddies who are obviously real estate agents, even with real. So it's nice and in-house that,
Nice.
a lot of leads are coming in. So I work the ones that I can, and I'm able to delegate the ones that I can't over to some of my buddies here in the company. I do get a little percentage off of that as well. So now I've kind of set up the passive income portion of it. So as
Perfect.
far as the leads coming in and all that, that's the most work, right? That's the most time. The buyer consults could last 45 minutes to an hour. You got 4 or 5 buyer consults a day. That's a lot of work.
Yes.
So now that I've got most of that delegated, I've really, really focused on, and that wasn't just recently. I mean, that was quick, right? I've always known in the back of my mind, I've always known how to scale a business. I just never had a business to scale, right? There's nothing, I've never really had anything in front of me that I can actually work with. And now that I have, that, I immediately put all the systems in place that are helping me get through all this and allowing me to just focus on the content, right? So I'm working about 5 or 6 buyers right now. That's all I like to work at a time. I don't like to work more than that. I don't want the quality of my business to drop because I'm taking on more than I can handle, right? I want to be able to work 5, 6 buyers at a time. That allows me to communicate with them efficiently, communicate with title, anything that I need to do to get the job done. But it also allows me time, 2 hours a day to go out and make content. And I think that's the main focus because without the content, none of this is here, right? So
Right.
I think a lot of mistakes that people make whenever they do start to blow up is maybe they lack on the content, maybe they switch the content up a little bit, or maybe they start working too much and start neglecting the content because look at all these leads that are coming in, right? I'd rather work
Right.
these leads and make money and not make the content. Well, I'm not in it for the short game, right? I'm looking at this very long term. And right now, I think building the brand is what's most important to me, and it's what I'm focusing on most. So, really getting my process down, which I do at this point. Tweaking with the algorithm a little bit, posting at different times, and finding out the social part of it, the social media part, and the business part of it is what's coming first. You know what I mean? Not the real estate. I can do the real estate. I'm good at real estate. I can do that in my sleep. But right now, I think the content is really what I need to even polish more. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I watch my videos and I love them. Don't get me wrong, I love them, but I always feel that there's something missing in my videos that will just make them explode. And if you look at my recent ones, I'm trying different hooks now. Right? This shit is available now as a great hook, and it will always be in the video. But now there's a hook before that. Like if you look at my recent video, the hook was everyone always asks about the home and never about the agent, something like that. I think starting with some comedy right off the bat is working pretty well now, and that video did 70,000 views in 24 hours, which was my best 24 hours in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I think new hooks I'm going to start implementing, but the videos themselves are pretty much the same. I'm not going to stray away from what became popular. You know what I mean?
Yes. So when you first started to do this style of video, were you recording yourself? Do you have a videographer? Do you edit yourself?
I've never had a videographer. I've never paid anyone to edit any of my videos or anything. It's just always just me and a tripod. As
Okay.
far as like scripts and all that, nothing, man. I'm just super ADHD. I show up. I can look at my surroundings and then just immediately I have stuff popping up into my head. You know what I mean? And like we were talking about before we started recording, current events. I mean, what's better than current events, right? Things that have people talking right now. You find a way to implement that inside of your video, it's game over. That's marketing 101. I mean, maybe not right. Like, if I started a video right now and I was like, said something about Taylor Swift and football, it wouldn't do too well, right? Because that's not now. But if I did that last month, I mean, holy crap, that would have been
Right.
like huge. So I think that's an important part of the process, creative process as well. But I think most of the like just the little witty jokes here and there. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about those. I'm just creative. I'm just blessed, I guess. And they just come so
It's just
naturally. It
you.
doesn't take me any time or nothing. It just comes out.
That's so awesome because I couldn't do it that way, but that's not my personality. My videos would look different. you've just found what works for you, and you just really said fuck it and leaned in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's great to show that you've been this consistent. You've done all these videos while recording yourself with a tripod. You edit yourself. And I think earlier you said you spend about 2 hours a day on content. But what's really important here, here's a lesson, right? What screws up so many agents is they do so many activities that get them busy. Great. But then what? If you stop doing the things that got you busy, eventually you won't be busy anymore. So you do that and figured out how to outsource and to scale and to hire, so that you could then make sure that you damn sure have that 2 hours a day or whatever it is to do content, because you knew that's the thing. That's the thing that has to keep going. So talk about
Correct,
that.
correct. Without the content, there's nothing. And even before I blew up, that was the case. Maybe in other realtors or referral based realtors, that's not the case for all realtors. But for me, I'm a social media realtor through and through, right? So without the content, there's literally nothing. And I think the biggest lesson with the content is just, obviously it's played out, but consistency. I mean, even if you're just doing the same shit over and over again, as you're doing it, you're gonna have new ideas. You're gonna have new things pop up. And I forgot the point of what you were getting at. Can you go back over what you were saying?
Yeah. So you knew that you had to systemize so that the
Yeah,
stuff
that's
that
right.
got you busy, that you could continue doing it. So you started to outsource, you started to hire, you started to take stuff off your plate onto someone else's, so that you didn't get bogged down in just the activities, like the busyness. You knew that if you stopped doing the content, you'd be killing the golden goose. And you sounds
Yeah.
like you figured that out. So talk
No,
about how you were
absolutely.
able to figure that
Because
out and what you put in place.
correct. Yeah, the content is king. And if I just keep on knocking out the content, then everything else is gonna come with it. You know what I mean? Without the content,
Yes.
there's nothing. And I think that's a massive lesson, because the content is not only just exploded my business, but it has exploded every single other part of my life. Right?
Mm.
There's so many opportunities that are being awarded to me, even outside of real estate. I've got comedy club owners in Austin telling me they need to come, they want to book me to come do some stand up comedy. I've got the all the news anchors that I'm doing like articles with and doing segments with. They're like, man, you really need to be in news. There's people inviting me to top agent events in like the most prominent areas in San Antonio where all the big money is at, all that good stuff. But I think what's most beneficial to me and my business is that this has allowed me to, like I said before, scale this in a way where I've always dreamed. So let me kind of go into that for you and give you an idea of what I mean by that. Before, it's like I'm going out, I'm calling new home consultants. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I stop by? I'd like to grab some content. I want to meet you. You know what I mean? Do all this, good stuff, right? That takes time. That takes money. All that energy. So I'm doing that every day, and then okay, I'm getting the content. That takes a couple of hours. Now I'm editing the content and I'm posting it. Now those posts maybe get 100 likes. It's good. It might drive in some business, but at the end of the day, it's a crapshoot, right? You're just trying to get lucky online. See if somebody is going to see your post at the right time, the right person at the right time. But now, in the name of scaling, I have figured out a way to create revenue throughout my entire process, right? So now you can book me. I do bookings, aggressive tour bookings, and whenever I announced that, it just absolutely exploded. I didn't think that I would be as busy as I was with it, but my calendar started filling up so damn fast. I thought maybe I'd get one or two bookings every week, or maybe a few a month. But man, everyone reached out, started booking, booking, booking. So now I've got this full schedule of content that I'm being paid to show up and do. So I'm now being paid to shoot the content. I post it online, it gets 1 million views. TikTok will pay me for those views, and Instagram as well. So now I'm shooting the content, I'm getting paid to shoot the content, and I'm building more relationships. I'm posting the content, I'm getting leads out of the post, and I'm also making money off of the post through the monetization that TikTok offers. And then I'm getting the leads from the post and I'm converting those leads and selling them homes. So every single step of the way now is revenue. And it's not like a sneaky kind of revenue. It's a revenue, it's a wanted, it's a willingness, like, yes, we want this, here's the money, do it. This is awesome. You know what I mean? It's not like you're positioning yourself to make, a little here, a little there, a little there. It's all willing, you know what I mean? It's all like bookings and all that. So I think in the name of scaling, it's been beautiful in that regard. And it's not just about the money, obviously, but now the relationships, right? I've met so
Mhm.
many more different new home sales consultants and other realtors who have booked me to do aggressive tours on their listings and their neighborhoods. So now I've got, my sphere of influence is just growing rapidly. And I've got connections now everywhere, and now they're growing exponentially. So that's a really, really good part of it. And then I don't know if you've seen the foodie channel now. So whenever I did the bookings for the aggressive tours, I had a lot of people who owned restaurants and food trucks reach out, and they're like, "Hey, we want to do aggressive tours with our restaurant or our food." And
Oh
so I've done
shit.
a couple of those now, and I started a new account, Brad the Foodie. We're almost at about 3,000 followers, but I've been promoting that a little bit as well. And then I also am doing, Airbnbs. I'm doing a boxing gym in a couple of days. I'm doing an automobile car wrapping place in a couple of days. Just a whole bunch of different businesses that want these sorts of reviews. So I'm thinking about making another page, Brad Reviews Businesses. So this style is not just for real estate, it's scalable to anything. And that is the opportunity that has been presented to me, just trying new things every day and then getting lucky with one that at the end of the day works with anything.
Dude, the doors that have opened to you just by leaning into your personality is awesome. And being brave enough to post that video. And you said earlier you almost didn't want to post it, or you almost deleted it, or
I almost deleted it.
yeah, that dude, some of my best podcast episodes, at least the ones I get the most feedback from or that resonates the most with people, are usually the ones where I'm like, oh, that fucking sucked, I should delete it, I should re-record it. But I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do it, because every single time I think it's gonna do well, it doesn't do so well. When I think it sucks, like, that's the shit that works. Like, I don't know how to understand it, but that's like content 101.
It is. And yeah, I mean, before this, I mean, now back to the point of like it's changed my life. Like now it's like I'll post anything now. Like I do not care. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's all good. Like it's changed my whole mindset, right? Because even before that, I mean, I was pretty insecure, not too sure of myself, not too sure if people would like me, like my videos, like my style. And when I tell you this has done a lot more for me than just business, I mean, just as a person, I'm just so sure of myself now. I'm not
Mm.
questioning myself, questioning if people are going to like me or not. One, they are going to like me because everyone else does. And even if they don't like me, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? I'm just being myself. And I can see that being myself is going to exponentially increase my quality of life. So it's not even a factor anymore. It's not even something that I think about anymore. It's almost like blowing up and having all these comments and likes of people that love what I'm doing is completely cured like my anxiety in general.
Wow. So it's been a personal development journey.
Oh, dude, big time personal development. And yeah, about 6 months before I've been working on myself, but this was really like really was able to like figure out and accept who I am as a person and just like understand that like hiding who you are or not being sure of who you are only creates negative energy and it's just going to get worse and worse. You know what I mean? It's all the confidence piece is my biggest takeaway from all this. It's my most like prized possession through all this, not the followers, not the leads, my quality of life and how I think of myself as a person now.
I can't. What a powerful lesson that you've taught yourself here by leaning into who you are authentically and then being accepted for it. Like that must have just, it's hard to put into words how impactful that was, I'm sure.
It's very hard, very, very hard. I mean, I could just, man, I remember my mom calling me and she's like, man, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, I've heard that before, obviously. That's not my, come to Jesus moment. She's told me that many times before, but this time was different because I could just hear it in her voice because she knows kind of how much I've struggled with just, myself and my personality, just anxiety, right? And for her to see me kind of take that leap and then to just explode over it, it it really made her day.
That's awesome, brother. That's so cool. So what, now that you've been doing all of this, all these doors have opened, what's next? What are you working on that we haven't seen yet?
I don't want to get too much into it, but I've got a lot of things. I got a lot of things that I'm working on. I'm talking to videographers right now, not trying to change the content, but maybe upgrade some of the quality of the content. But then I'm still kind of iffy on that because I do think that part of the experience is the chaoticness, the shitty mic, the it sounds like the mic is like in my mouth. You know what I mean? I think that that is what resonates with people. I think that that's part of the experience. So there's a lot of things that I have ideas on, but nothing that I've really implemented so far. But I am excited about a couple things coming up. I'm doing some more podcasts. I'm doing some more news interviews, but mostly I'm really excited to start branching out into different businesses, boxing gym and car places, and start really growing my brand as like a reviewer and not so much as an agent because that brand's already established. Right, I'll have that the rest of my life. But I mean, like just the reviewer and just like bringing this style to things other than real estate, I think is one of my main objectives. But as far as that, I guess like merch. I've got merch dropping soon. A lot of people are really excited about that, so I'm
Hell
pretty
yeah.
happy to drop that. The BAS merch is on the way.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, if you think about it, we all know who Simon Cowell is. Why? Because he's an aggressive reviewer,
That's right.
right? I mean, yes, I know he built a giant music industry business beforehand that gave him the opportunity to do it, but we don't know him as that. We know him as this brash, sometimes asshole reviewer guy. So I could see, dude, you could do so much with that. That's so cool. Uh, what I want to do, Brad, before we wrap it up, when we haven't done this in a minute, so I'm excited to do this with you. We do these rapid fire questions. They're either or, like Facebook or Instagram, and just to help us get to know you a little bit better. And then we'll wrap it up with you letting us know where we can find you, stay in touch with you, and learn more about what you're doing. Feel free to plug whatever you'd like, websites, social media, all that. One
Absolutely.
question, a selfish question that I'm curious, because you're doing Instagram, you're doing TikTok, and you monetized. Are you putting your content on YouTube Shorts as well?
I am not.
Okay.
I did try to at first, actually about a week or two ago, and I saw that it's a 1 minute limit, right? So
Yes.
now it's going to take me going back and I mean, just editing every video all over again, or I could start it up and just start from right now. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's probably the best move. Uh, just haven't done it yet.
Interesting. Okay. So your stuff's over a minute. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, yeah. A minute and 30 seconds is every single one.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and
And
that's because that's the Instagram max. I mean, man,
right.
if I like take all the content that I want to put inside of a single video and I don't have to edit it or trim it down, the video is 3.5, 4 minutes long. I have to really, really, really try to get it at a minute and 30 seconds. I wish that there was a platform. I guess you could do it on TikTok, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like maybe the 1 to 2 minute range is just better. I guess that's what I've started on. That's what's made it successful. But on TikTok, I could post
Right.
3, 4, 5 minute videos, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll try that next. Maybe I'll just give them the entire thing without cutting or editing or anything like that.
I'd be curious to see how that would perform. I mean, you alluded to this earlier, and you're saying it again now. Like you're fighting the urge to improve something that doesn't need to be improved, right? Like the microphone, the shitty mic. If you improved that and your audio quality was like perfectly crystal clear, would that take away from it? I mean, you think it's upgrading and making it better, but what if that actually hurts the product that people have come to like? So I love that you're thinking
Correct.
about
Yeah.
that. You're fighting the urge to upgrade stuff that doesn't necessarily need it. And so video length may be part of that. Um, I know that I've seen like 3 minute long, 4 minute long shit on Instagram. I'm pretty damn sure. Like, I don't know.
Really?
TikTok. Yeah.
You remember
Yeah.
when there was
I've watched
IGTV? That whenever there was
yes.
IGTV, you could upload long videos, but I haven't been able to find anything on Instagram that allows you to upload longer than a minute 30. That's the max for reels, and I think the max for stories is 1 minute. But if you find anything different,
Mm,
definitely let me know because I would love to upload the full video because I've got man, and I don't know if you noticed, I started doing little deleted scene videos as well. I
yes.
started a little series with that also.
People love that shit.
Man, I could not make content for the next month and put out a video every single day of deleted scenes.
I believe it. I'm sure it's
It's
gold too.
it's it's a lot. It's a lot. But I try to keep the deleted scenes at a minimum because I'll just take a joke that I said in the deleted scene, just transfer it to a new video. So I just I won't come up with something new if I have some material that I think is hilarious that I guess cut out of another video.
I love it, dude. I love it. It's such a great roadmap for creators that are trying to find their own voice because how you do things is so many lessons for all of us, even if we're not going to do anything like what you're doing. I don't have to do aggressive reviews in order to learn what's working for you. If I really dissect how you're doing things, why you're doing it, where you place things, all of that, it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big lesson in just being yourself and seeing if that's going to work out. I think a lot of the I guess like copycats they really miss the point of it. They think that the aggressive kind of style they think that that is what's going on. That's what's making these videos popular. It's not that. The videos are popular because I'm just being myself, and the audience is really able to understand and see that. I don't like the word trend with this either. A lot of people say, "Hey, you're a trendsetter. You started a trend." I don't see it like that at all. Like my personality is not a trend, right?
Mm.
I'm just being myself. You can say being yourself is a trend, but like aggressive tours being a trend, I just don't see it because I see trends as maybe like something like maybe like a dance, right? That people are all doing together. Mirroring someone's personality, that's not a trend. You know what I mean? That's like, don't do that. Like a trend is more everyone can get on board. So I don't like the word trend with all this. And I do wish that I do hope that people can find their niche outside of the aggressive kind of niche because yeah, at the end of the day, I don't feel like it's the aggression. I just feel like it's the complete being yourself. So whatever it is, comedy, aggression, maybe you're dropping knowledge and being smart or whatever, just being yourself is the main lesson here.
Perfectly said, dude. Perfectly said. I love it. That's a great way to wrap it up. So let's do the rapid fire questions, either or. Just pick one or the other. We'll blow right through them, and then let everyone know where they can connect with you if they haven't already. So
Sweet.
let's start with Facebook or Instagram.
Instagram.
Instagram or TikTok.
Instagram.
Books or podcasts.
Podcasts.
Podcasts or audiobooks.
Podcasts.
Rental property or flipping.
Oh, rental property. You got to flip to get to capital first, and then you go to
There
rental.
you go. Burgers or pizza.
Burgers.
New York or LA.
Neither.
Okay, fair enough. Baseball or football.
Football.
College or pro.
Pro.
Nice. Mountains or beach.
Beach.
Podcast or vlog.
I like vlogs. I think yeah, behind the scenes.
Nice. Rich dad, poor dad, or millionaire real estate agent.
Millionaire for sure. I don't yeah. I'll go with millionaire.
Uber or Lyft.
Uber.
Gary V or Grant Cardone.
Gary V.
Good call.
Oh
Brad,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Brad, thank you so much for being on the show today. Where is the best place for people to find you and connect with you and see what you have going on in the future?
Instagram or TikTok. On Instagram, it's Brad underscore the underscore realtor underscore 210. And then on TikTok, same thing, just without the 210. And also, if you want to follow the foodie journey, it's Brad the Foodie 210, and the same thing. You got the underscores also. And then on TikTok, just Brad the Foodie without the 210.
Perfect. And we will have links to your social profiles in the show notes of the podcast, in the YouTube description on YouTube, so that if you forget the underscores and the numbers, you can just click. So, Brad, appreciate it, my friend. Awesome conversation. Thanks for dropping knowledge today. Appreciate you being on the show.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me. Y'all have a good one.
If you learned nothing else from Brad's talk right there, from his interview, you really have to lean into who you are as a person, embrace your personality, embrace your unique differences, and then learn as much as you can about the platforms and figure out how the two can work together. All Brad did is he was experimenting, and one day he said, fuck it, I'm going to do it this way. This is my way. I feel good about this. I don't care anymore. I'm just going to go for it. And his world, his life, his career has changed forever as a result. So get yourself to the point where you just kind of say, fuck it, you're just going to do your thing and then do your thing and do it consistently. It may not blow up the way that it did for Brad, but it might. But if it doesn't, it's still worth doing because you're going to attract your tribe. When you attract your tribe, you will get more business because they want to work with you and only you. So thank you for listening this week. Please share this episode if you found it helpful, relevant, valuable. Share it with your broker, team leader, some agent friends, a Facebook group in the industry, in your story, whatever. Make sure you tag me at Massive Agent. And if you haven't yet, please leave us a review. We're, as always, trying to grow the audience, trying to reach more agents because agents need a little lifeline now more than ever. Help us to grow our audience and get in front of new agents. And you can do that by leaving a review on Spotify and or Apple. If you're an Apple user, you can just do, I forget the link. Well, just plug in Massive Agent Podcast in your Apple, little purple app, scroll down to where it shows the stars, hit 5 stars, leave a little review, say a few words, and it helps us out tremendously. Same thing on Spotify, and help us to share it. Appreciate you guys listening. I'll be back next week with another kick-ass episode of the Massive Agent Podcast. Take care.